Hello everyone, I'm Bruffy1322 and in this video I'm going to be showing the fastest fully upgraded supercars around a circuit and the best cars to use for races. For the full story about what I did, check the annotation on the screen or the link in the description for the intro video, but otherwise let's get straight into it. So in last place for the supercars is the Bullet. Now the Bullet feels reasonably good around the corners, it's not that bad, but it just lacks that overall acceleration and particularly straight line speed to really elevate it any higher than 9th. Obviously, it's the 1:08.4 that it gets is a reasonably quick time overall compared to all of the other cars in the game, but compared to the supercars in such a competitive and quick class, it's just not on the pace. So it's not too bad to drive, it feels okay to drive, but it's not very quick. In 8th place we have the Voltic. Now the Voltic's strength always used to be acceleration out of the corners. Because it's an electric vehicle, it always did well with getting that power down. However, when it's fully upgraded, it doesn't have the turbo upgrade available to it. Because all of the other cars around it do, they catch up to it in terms of acceleration, and the Voltic with its lack of traction really just becomes just another sports car in terms of the lap time that it gets with a 1:06.638. 6.638. However, just ahead of that, in 7th place, is the Adder. Now the Adder has really fallen from grace from what it used to be, especially when it was stock, and that with a 1:05.8, it's only a couple of tenths quicker than the Voltic. And the reason for that is that it just doesn't have the spoiler available to it. Because it doesn't have a spoiler, it really suffers in the corners. It's very good on the straights, it builds up the speed really well, and it's the best car to use for those long highway races. But around the corners it really does suffer, it's too heavy and it's too clunky. So 7th place for the Adder there. Just ahead of it in 6th place we have the Vaca. Now we're starting to get some really good lap times at this point. With a 1:05.1, the Vaca is a reasonably quick car. It's quite good for a rear wheel drive car at keeping balanced around the corners. It's quite a nice car to drive as well. Again, just like some of the other supercars, it lacks that overall power just to get those top spots. It feels nicely balanced as it is, but compared to the top supercars in the class, it just doesn't have the pace. Now right in the middle, in 5th place, is the Cheetah. The Cheetah is very planted. It will do everything that you want it to do. Again, just like the Vaca, it kind of lacks that overall speed. With a 1:04.1 though, it really does take a big jump in lap time over the Vaca, and we are starting to get some really quick lap times at this point. But again, the Cheetah just it doesn't have really what it needs to get up into those top spots. However, it is a very nice car to drive, and it will certainly be able to do you well. Just ahead of it in 4th place is the Infernus. Now the Infernus manages to get a lap time of 1:03.8. Now very few cars actually break into that 1:03 barrier, and the Infernus can't do it unless you know how to drive it. It's very particular about the way it needs to be driven, but if you can get it right and you get it down, its 4-wheel drive system and the traction that it has will really do you a good lap time, and you can certainly compete with it, but it is off the pace of the top 3. So the top 3 are in a class of their own, and we start with the Turismo R. The Turismo R gets a lap time of 1:02.769, and only 3 cars in the entire game manage to get into that 1:02 barrier, and those are the 3 cars that you're seeing in this video. So the Turismo R is very quick. It has a very good acceleration, and it's very planted as well, especially under braking. You can really turn it in and brake at the same time, so it's not really going to step out on you very much. You have to be able to manage the oversteer because it is a rear wheel drive car, but it's very quick and very planted, and it will certainly be able to do you well in supercar races. It's got great acceleration, great traction as well, and it's certainly a very good all-rounder. However, just ahead of it we have the Entity in 2nd place. Now the Entity was always the old guard. It always used to be the quickest until the 1st place car came along, and it manages to keep that 2nd place despite all of the new additions. So with a 1:02.706, it's only 0.06 of a second quicker than the Turismo. Now the Entity has the highest levels of traction of any car in the entire game, and you have to be able to utilize that to get the kind of lap time out of it. It's got great acceleration as well, especially the fact that it's 4-wheel drive, and that's where it's going to get its lap time down. Again, very close to the Turismo, and they would have very good races if they were raced against each other. Very quick, but both of them are a little bit off the pace of our number 1 car, which is of course the Zentorno. Now the Zentorno gets a lap time of 1:02.1 0.069, so a good 7/10 of a second over the Entity and the Turismo, which is a reasonably good gap. That is quite a lot when you get to this kind of level, and certainly the Zentorno is a lot better than the opposition. It's just got that extra bit of power. It feels very raw and very powerful, and it just punches its way out of the corners like nothing else in the entire game. It just has enough traction to hold it all together with the spoiler, and it will certainly do you very, very well in supercar races. It's certainly the best one to use. It is 4-wheel drive, so it's got great launch out of the corners as well, but you do need to be careful under braking, because it does have a tendency to oversteer when you're going into the braking zone if you turn at the same time. So you have to manage it. The Zentorno is a difficult one to drive. It's not that easy, but if you do manage to get it down, it will be the quickest car in the game by quite a long way as well. It's so raw and it's so powerful. It's easily the best car in the entire game. So there we have it, the Zentorno wins in the supercars class. In the next video we're going to be focusing on the sports cars. If you're new and you want to be notified of when any new videos like this come out, be sure to click that subscribe button. You can also check the description down below for a lot of various other tests and things that I've done. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and obviously leave all your comments down below about what you thought about this list. Thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate your support as always, and I'll see you next time.